Chainsaw Man treaded through the manga and anime scene and broke new ground. The story is continued after season 1 with Chainsaw Man the movie Reze Arc, which tore through our expectations all over again. In this podcast episode, we rip into what made the movie one of our favourites in years and how it compares to Infinity Castle and other anime movies. We also explore what makes the Chainsaw Man anime so refreshing, from the influences that inspired its creator to how it's redefining the anime scene. Join us as we tear through Chainsaw Man.
Well, hello, and welcome back to Gateway to Anime. How are you all? What's going on? We are the podcast where we bring you the best new anime as well as deep dive into the classics. I, as always, am your host, Sam, and I am joined by my sister, Charlie, and our good friend, Graham. Charlie, how are you?
I'm good. Excited to... I always start with excited to, but I am excited to talk about this topic this week because it's very topical. Anytime you say topic in one sentence. Couple. I'm excited. Yes.
Great.
And I'm good. I'm good.
Excellent.
How are you? I never ask you.
No.
How are you feeling?
These guys don't care how I am. You know what I mean? This is not the case. I'm good, actually. Feeling good. We're about to go back to Perth to see our family, which is kind of weird. But we're going to go say hi.
Wow, dox us. People are going to... The whole
meet us at the airport.
How's your flight get in again?
Anyway, Graham, how are you, mate?
I'm good. I'm not going back to Perth, so...
No.
Fuck you. Never been. Never wanted
Really?
to.
Isn't there one in Scotland?
There is.
Yeah.
I once saw a homeless man bite another man's ear in Perth. I assume it's the same in Western Australia.
Honestly, it really does sound like that could have happened in either location.
Yeah. Same.
Thank you very much to Hobbyco for sponsoring this episode. We'll be back later to tell you more about them, but you can check out their link in the description where they take their fun seriously. Australia's oldest hobby store.
This week on Patreon, we're recommending other great shows we're watching that we think anime fans will love. Physical 100 is a strength show, like a competition survival series from Netflix. This show is great, so we've been watching that. I highly recommend if you are a fan of things such as any sport anime that is anything sport
or
anime, deathmatch. This is just that in live action. Like it's giving
Blue Lock.
Honestly, it does scratch an itch that gives me the hype like a shonen. If you want to watch that and heaps more exclusive content, you can find us over on Patreon.
Anyway, today we are here to talk about Chainsaw Man because obviously the movie has rather recently come out. It's been out for a little bit now. Might, by the time the podcast comes out, be at the tail end of its run in Australia. Anyway, I'm not sure about the release schedule around the world. Of course, it is different. But basically, we had such an incredible time watching this movie. And so we wanted to talk about Chainsaw Man more broadly and just how good this movie actually is. And also broaden the conversation around this new phenomenon that we're seeing in the anime world of canon movies. So as in a movie that is part of a television series that is the story continues through the movie, which is relatively rare occurrence. Probably in the last 5 years, you'd say Demon Slayer Mugen Train was kind of not the first, but like the one that really made it popular and showed that it could work. Obviously, we had Infinity Castle this year, which is currently the highest grossing Japanese film of all time, full stop. I'm not just saying anime.
Wild.
Of any film ever made in Japan. It is the highest grossing film at the time of this recording ever. Crazy stuff. Really great film. But Chainsaw Man.
Such a surprise hit. So I was reading that Chainsaw Man in the West, apparently, as in Western audiences' box office.
Western Australia as in Perth?
As in Perth, Western Australia,
Western Australia.
not Scotland.
No, not popular
it
at all.
flopped there.
That one theatre, no roof. Terrible.
I think it was that they did similar numbers to Jujutsu Kaisen Zero. Yeah. And not in Japan, but in the West. And I found that really surprising because when it comes to things that are like accessible, easy to watch, more palatable to watch, Jujutsu Kaisen Zero was a prequel, so it's easier to kind of come in on. Also, the material is far more like, I would say, friendly for more audiences. Chainsaw Man is a little bit, we'll go into this. It's very much, not for the faint-hearted. Is it R18? It's 18.
Yeah, I believe so.
Yeah. So it's like, it's a lot of violence, so it's kind of interesting to me that it did so well. And I was surprised by how well that movie did, because Chainsaw Man season 1, although it was a huge success,
Yes.
I actually wasn't, this is a bit of a hot take, I wasn't super into it as I thought I was going to be.
I agree.
I kind of was like, I love the characters, I think this is like a cool world, but I kind of just like, it didn't get me that much. I still thought it was great, don't get me wrong, but I was expecting to be like frothing at the mouth over it, you know.
Yeah. This is my new thing. Like, yeah.
So when we got, shout out to Sony Pictures Australia and Crunchyroll Australia, when we got invited to the IMAX premiere of it, I was a little bit like, yeah, I'll go, whatever, like I'm busy. Anyway, get there, not really expecting much. And when I say, and I'm more of a Demon Slayer person, and I much preferred this movie. I think it's a way better film than Infinity Castle. It's so sick. It looks incredible. Mappa absolutely crushing. I think the design is better than the series. I think that this movie in general, I was so excited by it. It took me massively by surprise. So go out and see if you can. If not, I'm sure it will come on Crunchyroll soon, but it's definitely worth it. If you had any hesitation about the series like I did, give this one a chance, because it kind of takes everything that was good about the series, but I think just elevates it.
I completely agree. It's a lot of people had, myself included, found the animation style that Mappa utilized in season 1 a bit off-putting. That's like a kind of CGI type amalgamation with the 2D. It felt a bit, and I know Dorohedoro, which I think actually was a big influence on Fujimoto, who is the author's work. And of course, that's different to the manga style. The manga style is obviously drawn, very different, no CGI in drawings. But with the anime style, the first season was much more evocative of Dorohedoro season 1 than what the movie was. The movie was led much more into 2D hand-drawn. Now, of course, there's CGI, but it's much more seamless. It's much less like, I guess, Uncanny Valley is kind of a way to kind of describe like, what that first season. It's kind of like watching something, you're like, what?
Probably just a budgetary thing as well, though. Like
It's actually it's quite a big style change.
All right.
Yeah, like so. Just FYI, Graham has not seen the movie.
Graham is the biggest Chainsaw Man fan of us all, but he unfortunately had some work commitments on that night.
I was boiling a roast, all right?
At a big,
I don't know what I was doing. I had something on. So
big manga reader though. So we've got Graham here has read the manga of Chainsaw Man. It's a completely different art style. Like there's a lot of different. It's not like. It's subtle, but it's there, and it's not. It's not budget. It's actually like a full choice. You can see, like it's a
choices have been made.
Yeah, and I think for the better.
Yeah, and we'll see what the series does.
Yeah, that'll be fascinating. Because I guess like you, Charlie, I found Chainsaw Man to be good when it came out in 2022, but not great. You know, I was sort of like, well, this is cool.
But was it just art style, or was it story, or was it pacing, or
a bunch
characterization?
A bunch of things. So I mean, I guess let's dive into this. Let's talk about Chainsaw Man before we go back into the movie. So like, Chainsaw Man itself, right, is the progenitor of what is now known as the Dark Trio. Right now, the Dark Trio is, of course, well, actually, Jujutsu Kaisen was before it, but I think Chainsaw Man took what Jujutsu Kaisen was doing and elevated the darkness and the unhinged madness of it. Obviously, Hell's Paradise, in fact, the mangaka was one of Fujimoto's apprentices.
Who is it these days?
He was an assistant. We'll get into that later, a bit later. But yes, that was Yuji Kaku was one of his assistants. But
I was also one of
Charlie was one of his drawing skills.
Where I learned.
2026 for me.
I guess, I don't know. I sort of wanted to like it more than I did. But I mean, there's certainly an element. And of course, we're called Gateway to Anime, right? So like a lot of our thing is like trying to put it in terms of like, hey, if you've never seen an anime before, watch this. This will get you into it. I wouldn't do that with Chainsaw Man season 1, unless I knew your tastes. You know what I mean? Unless I was like,
you're a masochist.
Well, if you're like a horror fan or someone who like is into more unhinged kind of Western content, I wouldn't suggest this straight off the bat because it gives the ick.
It depends though, because it is obviously like pretty edgelord, full on like violent sexual content, that kind of thing. But I feel like in the same way you'd recommend a Tarantino movie. Do you know what I mean? Like it's giving, it's so like heightened, as in you got to warn people it's adult content. But I have a lot of people who like Chainsaw Man who don't like other anime. It actually speaks to a lot of people.
As well.
I would put it same Tarantino-esque. But if you look at like the quieter moments of it and how those are shot, and you know, old mate just having a cigarette on his balcony in the morning with his paper and stuff, like those shots are amazing. So again, I think it depends on the person.
I have a real thing. So like obviously a big part of our channel podcast is talking about things that are like content warnings, and like one thing that we really don't love here at Gateway to Anime is fan service. So we're not into, and fan service, for those who do not know, is usually like sexualized content that's done kind of in a way that's meant to please the fans in a way, but it's usually just kind of comes off as pervy. Chainsaw Man, I don't mind how it's done because it's from the point, like it's from Denji's perspective, and I kind of think the stylistic side, it doesn't take you out of it. It's a part of the style of the story.
Yes, that's true.
And I think it kind of earns it in a strange way. And I never, like, someone's going to come and arrest me in a second, but I genuinely.
Kicking down the door.
Yeah, I'm like, oh, I'm sorry, I like Chainsaw Man. No, I genuinely, like, it's something I really, and this movie, Reze, has like it's a romantic kind of, I think romance is actually done really well in that movie, but it's quite beautiful. But there is obviously like sexual content because you're seeing it from Denji's point of view. Denji is also 16, so that's the other thing.
Yep.
Denji is the reason I don't mind Denji's kind of like
fixations.
or like the fact that he's 16 and like very much abused and he's getting manipulated by adults. If anything, he's the victim. Do you know what I mean? So it's kind of like you're
Especially
seeing it from
film.
his. Yeah, and that's the thing. So actually, if anything, he's the one getting groomed. He's the one that's having all this shit go down.
Yes, and there
He's
is
this
an
poor,
episode in the first season where that does
totally
happen, and it's pretty uncomfortable.
It's very
I found that
uncomfortable.
really, I was like, oh, that pushed me to my limit, that episode. I was like, oh man.
But it doesn't shy away from, it's like, yeah, this is happening. This person is absolutely going through it. Like it's an interesting dynamic. And I think that often with male protagonists, people are kind of like, don't clock that is abuse or sexual abuse or grooming because it's a male protagonist with an older woman.
Yeah.
But actually it is. And I think this show is saying something about that.
Yeah,
that's what I think, but I could also just be super wrong about that. But I've kind of read it that way. Yeah. I think it's making a comment about that.
Well, it's what makes this show very unique, right? Because it also sort of harkens back to that 90s era of anime and early 2000s with the kind of what got famous in the kind of more unhinged style of anime. And like, this is a tangent I won't go too far into, but like basically there was a company in the 90s, a UK company called the Manga Effect, right? Which is actually a British company. They're a subsidiary of Island Records, but they were the ones who initially in the mid 90s really pushed what became coined in the time period as Japornimation, right? So that kind of like, which again is a big stigma, which still gets attached to a lot of anime products today. And it's still something which I think gets unfairly attributed to a lot of anime. Now, don't get me wrong, there's a lot of really problematic, messed up stuff in the anime canon, which is what we try and avoid and try and help you all avoid. But Chainsaw Man does, like Dorohedoro, does touch on that kind of slightly unhinged, slightly pushing the boundaries style, which I think was a lot of the reason why a lot of people, I mean, Akira wasn't overtly sexualized, but like it was something which was like the first time really in the West, people were like, wow, that's you can do that with a cartoon. Yeah. You can do that, like have violence and make it adult, not pornographic, but like for adults.
Chainsaw Man is at no point pretending it's for kids though, it's for adults.
No, it's in Shonen. It's in Shonen Jump.
Yeah, but it's like
it's Jump Plus as well, but
very limit of what shonen is. Yeah,
it's right, but that's what's interesting. It straddles this weird line, which is what makes it so unique.
But like kids shouldn't be watching it. It's one of those.
No, kids should not be watching it.
It's so gratuitous in its violence in particular, and it's like turbo.
It's made of chainsaws,
and like and you're not watching this being like. I think the difference is I'm not watching this being like, yeah, I wish I was doing. You're watching you being like, this is so cooked. This world is fucked. And it's like it's making an overall comment like. And yeah, that's why it doesn't bother me as much. And I think even with anime blinkers on or off, which I'm trying to take off because certain things I just will not watch. This one, I don't know. I feel like it's human enough as a story. I think actually Denji, the characters, the way that it fleshes itself out is quite a beautiful piece. I think it's really interesting.
Yes. So what's interesting about Chainsaw Man, again, is that the protagonist, not unlike Yuji in Jujutsu Kaisen, has a very different objective to what we're used to in shonen protagonists. Denji in particular is particularly unique because basically, for those of you who don't know Chainsaw Man, by the way, the world is set it's actually set in 1997, by the way. Do you guys know that?
That makes sense.
That's why there's no smartphones or anything. It's actually set in the 90s.
And that's why it's, obviously the aesthetic and everything is inspired.
Yes. But what's interesting about it is that it's basically in this world where devils exist who are basically the manifestations of people's fears. And the more powerful the collective fear, the more powerful the devil. So the most powerful devil is the gun devil, right? Because humans are terrified of guns, as we should be. And it scales from there. Now, it gets more complicated than that. The power system's actually quite complex. Like people can make deals with devils. So we have the Devil Hunter Association, which Denji ends up being a part of. He, of course, fuses with the Chainsaw Devil, who's a cute little dog called Pochita, who ends up infusing and becoming his heart, and therefore he's kind of like a human/devil hybrid. So that's kind of like the basic notion here, but he joins the Devil Hunters Association, and the reason he does that is not because he wants to hunt down the Gun Devil. There is a character who does have that tragic backstory where the Gun Devil's killed his family and he's on a revenge mission, which would be the more typical shonen protagonist objective. But in this case, Denji just wants a warm bed, some nice food, and to touch a boob. That's it. That's not me being
no, and it's
gratuitous. That's literally
it's by
what
far
he wants.
Probably the only relatable shonen protagonist for most people.
Yeah.
Like, I feel like that is way more on the level than being, the very best that no one ever was, or Hokage. It's like, it's a very refreshing take on it.
It is.
I think.
And there is this element of like this absolutely bombastic, unhinged, like hyper-violent, sexualized kind of madness, which is a big hallmark of Fujimoto's work.
It's also funny. It's
also really unhinged and funny, but also highly quotidian. So like, as you mentioned before, the everyday aspect of things.
Yeah, he's having some toast. It's the best toast he's ever had. And I'm like, respect.
Hell yeah. So that beautiful moment with Aki when he wakes up in the morning, he just goes through his morning routine. And it's one of the most like beautiful, if anyone has ever seen Satoshi Kon's Ohio or Good Morning, a tiny little short, which you can see on YouTube, it evokes that.
Yeah.
That beautiful kind of simplicity, those in-between moments, almost generating ennui. Like it's a really fascinating, beautiful piece. And that's why Chainsaw Man is so interesting. But let's just talk a little bit about Fujimoto himself. Okay. So also, not only is the IP unique, he is unique as well. So he was born in 92, 93. Actually, there's contention around that, such as his privacy. But he started drawing at a very early age. He was born in rather rural Japan, but there were no preparatory schools near him. So he went with his grandparents to learn oil painting.
Oh.
So he learned oil painting in rural Japan, got pretty good at it, ended up graduating Western painting actually, at Tohoku University of Art and Design, and he graduated in 2014. But even before that, he was making his own one-shots. Now, what's unique about this is, as we mentioned before, most mangaka start off as an assistant to a much more famous one, right? So, for example, Fujimoto had 3 very famous assistants, one of which was, as I mentioned before, Yuji Kaku from Hell's Paradise, Tatsuya Endo, Spy Family, and Yokonobu Tatsu, Dan. So there are just 3 of his...
Sorry, it's so funny that the Spy Family mangaka was there. Like, the other ones are so fitting.
I'm going to do spies.
Yeah, they're like...
What about like a wholesome family drama?
Yeah.
Like... Yes, it's that is the one.
Surrounded by madmen.
Although I did remember reading apparently that mangaka wanted to do something off the wall, and that they ended up writing
it was like 2 off the wall. Like, no, you need to do spy drama.
Yeah, they were like, you gotta like keep it family friendly. Like, yeah.
But yeah, it's very, very interesting. So he published a bunch of one-shots, published in Shonen Jump and Jump Plus, won several awards for them. But basically his first major serialization was Fire Punch, which was in Shonen Jump Plus, which is their online version, isn't it?
Yeah.
So that was from 2016 to 2018. So I'm just going to throw to you, Graham. What is Fire Punch?
Good question, Sam.
I've heard this. I read a lot about it today. It blew my mind.
So it's been a while. So Fire Punch is basically a world of abilities. It's really quite a difficult story because it is basically about a man on fire. But his ability, his innate, can't remember his name, his innate ability is to heal. And he meets a pyromancer who comes to his village to basically, like, the world's gone to shit and everyone has limited resources, so the bandits come to basically steal the youth for the food. He tries to stand up for his sister and he gets lit on fire with this perpetual fire that never goes out, but then he can't die because he's constantly healing. So he's just literally a walking ball of fiery vengeance. He goes out on a quest, obviously, to find his sister and also confront the man who lit him on fire. But then it sort of unravels on hinges because he's constantly on fire and his healing ability doesn't stop him from feeling pain. So he kind of has to adapt to just being on fire.
Anguish all the time?
Yeah, which fucks with his mind because he doesn't know really what's real. He doesn't know if his backstory is real or not. And it's him sort of experiencing the world while everything around him is unraveling. So
I can relate to that.
It's really interesting, real high concept. Probably butchered like the origin of it. Yeah, Fujimoto's fucked up.
Yeah, it's
great story.
Yeah.
Ending is trash.
Okay.
but like the characters, the world is great. But it boils down to a man on fire who punches things.
Yeah, it sounded insanely unhinged. Yeah,
Ludicrous.
Even more so than Chainsaw Man. But then, of course, Chainsaw Man Part 1, there are 2 parts to the manga as well, which is quite interesting.
Are we still in part 1, yeah?
We are still in Part 1, yes.
Yeah.
So that was published in Shonen Jump from 2018 to 2022, but Part 2 is now moved back to Jump Plus, where most of Fujimoto's work has been published. And that began in 2022 and it's still ongoing now.
Yeah, about War? The War Demon?
The War Devil. So I've got a quote from him here. So he was saying he wanted to draw manga like Korean films, citing the 2008 South Korean film The Chaser as a major influence. And he stated, the main character chases after a villain, but 30 minutes into the movie, he catches him. This is supposed to happen at the end of the movie. So you keep wondering what will happen next. A lot of people say that in Korean movies, they cannot tell what the director is thinking. But actually, if you watch until the end, you will get it. I wanted to make something like that, which is why he's constantly subverting expectations all the time with the audience, right? He's also highly influenced by Takashi Kitano, of course, an absolute legend of Japanese media, full
We've
stop.
talked about him before and how if I could have anyone's career, it would be
Takeshi Kitano.
Takeshi Kitano, for sure.
Anyone see everything?
Mostly just Takeshi's Castle.
Mostly Takeshi. Let alone his
That's
badass films. You know?
Oh, yeah, I know. It's like wonderful auteur. I'm
Auteur,
like, Takeshi's Castle. Thanks. That's what I will take.
It is pretty badass. Some of his manga author heroes are Hiraki Samura, who did Blade of the Immortal. Never been made into an anime, which is a shame.
Made to live action. Really, really bad live action.
Yeah, terrible.
Yeah.
And Sutoma Nihai, who made Knights of Sidonia. Actually, one of his major influences.
Really?
Yeah. Which is kind of an interesting one.
No one's gonna take
That's the Muse song, yes.
Right?
That is a Muse song called Knights of Sidonia.
What's the other thing?
You've never seen Knights of Sidonia? It was like an old sort of mech cyberpunk
there's
type
a
of thing.
Netflix.
Like,
Netflix
2008,
did it.
back in the days, old school.
2008. That's not that old school.
Well, for us, for the current audience.
I mean, Muse Knights of Sidonia predates that. No one's gonna take.
They made a whole anime out of that?
Honestly, do you think Fujimoto likes Muse? That's what I want to know.
Muse also, I mean, Matt Bellamy, very talented. That's true. But also, he was heavily influenced, this should come as a surprise to no one, by the 1974 film, The Texas Chainsaw Massacre, which probably shouldn't surprise anybody for this.
And Tarantino, right?
Reservoir Dogs
spoiler.
in particular, which of course, we've got the ones wearing the suits.
Yeah. And,
Sharknado.
Yeah, great.
Which is hilarious.
Well, that makes sense for
Shark Boy.
Sharkman, Beam. Yes.
Beam, and also the devil, the Monsoon Devil.
Oh, yes, the Monsoon Devil. Yes.
It's a Sharknado moment, actually.
Yeah, literally.
Yeah.
There is, actually, yes.
I gotta check this anime out.
Yes, Graham.
It's right up my alley.
Attack of the Killer Tomatoes and his anime influences.
Attack of the Killer Tomatoes.
One of his favorite films.
That
Tomatoes?
You absolutely makes sense to me.
It all checks out, right?
That's why you got the Tomato Devil.
Yeah, dude, it's all in here. Yeah, it's ticking all the boxes, baby.
That is actually a genius.
And do you know what else his anime big influences are? Fully Cooley.
Yep.
And
Checks
Devilman.
Yep, checks. Honestly, I feel like Chainsaw Man's a cross between those two.
That's what it is.
Yep.
So,
Beautiful.
Yeah.
That's so good.
He's also a massive film buff.
Yeah.
Loves film. Absolutely lives for Western film and
Who's
South
pulling
Korean
from
film.
Attack of the Killer Tomatoes as well, though? Like,
Fujimoto, obviously.
Yeah, which is why, like, obviously one of the most iconic things about the first season was the opening credits, in which it had just like homage after homage after Hollywood films. Obviously, you had Reservoir Dogs, and you had like it kept going. There was like someone did like a breakdown just of all the different frames that they were taken from films. So cool. I love that opening.
that's a great
Wonderful.
opening.
Yeah, it's great.
Yeah.
But also the opening theme of Reze was sick too.
Was it good?
I was like running to that the other day. Not running, walking.
Fleeing?
You were running?
I was fleeing.
From a bar tab?
For a taxi? Like, no, kidding. Don't do that.
No, we're not condone that.
Before we go any further, we should probably mention today's episode sponsor. If you're looking for your own Chainsaw Man figure or a Pochita plushie, Hobbyco is the place to find it. Along with the high quality and posable Chainsaw Man figures, Hobbyco have a huge range of anime goodies. Hobbyco also have all of your Gunpla needs, as well as just about any hobby supplies that you can imagine. Supplying Australia with hobbies for over 90 years, Hobbyco is a place for people who take their fun seriously. Head into their stores to browse the huge range, including their Chainsaw Man and anime figures, or shop online at their website.
And you can find out more about Hobbyco on their website, and you can follow the link in the description to find out even more. And now, back to the episode.
I don't know if I've told this story in this podcast before, but I have this memory of when Chainsaw Man was coming out. And my beautiful best friend, who is very much a normie, she's this like very beautiful, cool girl who just likes, movies and normal
Ponies
things.
and sandwiches.
Yeah. She's just like, into like things that are live action or whatever. And she occasionally likes to ask me, likes to show an interest because she's a supportive friend. So she was like, tell me what you're watching now. And I just looked at her dead in the eye and I was like, there's this thing called Chainsaw Man. And I was like, it's about this guy that fuses with a chainsaw devil. And she literally just like, I could see her just be like that, eyes glazed over. I think she left her body because I think she's like, I'm trying to take you seriously as a person. And I was like, no, it's great. I promise it's really popular.
It's postmodern.
I was like, it's
Attack of the
super
Killer
fucking
Tomatoes.
popular. I promise. It's like so much about it. Like, anyway. So that's my life. Just trying to justify things to people who are just like, yeah.
No,
she
don't
hasn't
run.
watched it though, shockingly.
Shame. Watch this episode and then make your decision. I've got a quote here from the mangaka of Tokyo Ghoul called Ishida Sui. So I love this because this really checks out. Fujimoto-kun had better realize soon that he's much crazier than he thinks he is. Because the
Is that
man's
a compliment or an insult? Like, how do you take that?
a bit of both. He's pretty crazy. There's also 31 million copies of the manga in circulation, which makes it one of the higher sellers. Now, obviously, we've got the big boys up in the hundreds, and of course, One Piece. But like for reference, around that period of that sort of number, we've got. Funny enough, his apprentice has surpassed him, 38 million with Spy Family.
Really?
Yeah.
I mean, a bit more of an open audience.
Yeah, I get it.
More of an open audience.
You got the kid. Honestly, that's why he wrote that.
Yeah.
I look forward to the follow-up that's going to be fucked if he's...
So episode cooked. Frieren has 32 million, so just 1 million ahead.
That's
So close. So again, this is the realm that sort of Chainsaw Man's operating in, right?
12 volumes.
Yeah. Apothecary Diaries, 40 million.
Oh, really?
Yeah.
God, it's good.
Death Note, 30. So Chainsaw Man's over Death Note.
So it's
Death Note's only 30.
30 million. It's been out for like 50 years.
And it's...
I think the anime itself in the West had a way bigger impact than the manga itself did
The
in
manga's
Japan.
so good.
The manga's so good. The ending of the manga's way better than the ending of the
I
anime.
know, but it's just
Should we do a
30
Death
million.
Note episode?
Yes, of course we should. This episode entitled Charlotte Sings opening
Really badly.
really poorly. No lyrics. Butchering the Japanese
Honestly,
language.
the amount of like
We should do a
TikToks-
Death Note one episode actually. That's a
Yes.
great We haven't done that shit.
the amount
Not
of-
since our early days.
The amount of TikTok that I see that have like trending sound is like do 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 do, and I'm like, do people even know what this? I don't think they do. People are just using
heard
the
it here
sound,
first.
and I'm like,
Doing
it's
Death
Death Note, kids.
Children. We're doing a Death Note
people
episode.
people still watch Death Note.
Oh, no, but even, huge
reading it,
influence on our days.
Read books, kids.
Fruits Basket 30, Golden Kamui 30. So all around that kind
30
of,
to 40.
like that's that range of, which is big. These are big IPs, right?
Yeah.
And Chainsaw Man's still going. So yeah, interesting.
It's really popular in the West. Like people,
Yeah, it is.
like I think that because of, and it makes sense to me with the influences that we're hearing that we all clock immediately.
Yeah.
I think it makes sense. And as much as you were like, it's hard to recommend for people. I was like, I don't know. It depends on who they are. You have to
That's
know
what I'm
their
saying to you.
taste. Like
Yes.
most of my like film bro friends love Chainsaw Man.
Yes.
Yeah,
But
and
like your
I-
friend who you literally just referenced glazed
Yeah.
over and thought you were a lunatic.
Honestly, I think I could be like, there's a thing about this like guy that wants to be the very best and no one ever was, and she'd be like glazed over, and be like, what is that? You know, she wouldn't know what I'm talking about.
Pocket
No
monsters?
fucking idea.
Fucking monsters.
She's a no. Kidding.
But yeah, so I mean, I think let's go back to the movie. So Graham, unfortunately you haven't seen it, but
No, I
you've
haven't
read this part of the manga,
Oh,
right?
yeah. This is spoilers. Bomb Devil.
Yes, it is the Bomb Devil.
Great arc.
The Reze Arc.
Really great arc.
It's outstanding, actually. And I remember at one point.
I actually felt so sad for everyone.
Everyone.
Her, Denji,
Everyone encountered her.
but like, you know, this is going ahead, we're just doing full spoilers movie. God, the romance was done incredibly well.
Beautifully.
Incredibly well.
Beautifully.
And you wanted them, and then the ending was also so sad.
Tragic.
Because you were like, oh, she's also someone who's suffered through the system as a kid,
Traumatized.
who's traumatized, who's been manipulated as well.
Fused with the devil, yep. It's,
And as a child, and then she went to go meet him because she actually did. He was right. She did care about him. It's so sad.
it's
can't.
actually, Charlie and I
it's an
were turning to
excellent
each other constantly throughout the film, just being like, dude, is this Is this fucking sick?
I was so caught off guard. I had no idea, because I was kind of like, I don't know if I'm in the zone for Chainsaw Man. Then I was suddenly just like, da, 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 like screaming and like it was such a hype
from
movie.
the theater.
The action sequences are incredible.
Wild.
Could have done without the nudity. I was like, please just don't do
Yeah,
that. Also,
that
I mean,
was
it's like, but that's like at the same time, it's
That's
like
Chainsaw Man.
it's Chainsaw Man. You know what you're in for. It's for adults, whatever. But like, I do think that pool scene is incredibly important, though.
It is vital.
And so it's like a very well done. It's just a very well structured movie, which I think is rare for a canon continuance on an anime series.
Yes.
So the issue we had with Infinity Castle, which I did love. Don't get me wrong. Don't get me wrong. Would happily watch that right now. Let's put it on. But it definitely, in my review, you can see.
Watch it on YouTube.
Watch it on YouTube. I was just a bit like, oh, okay. I think that's pacing is the problem because you're adapting. Whereas this one, for
you
some,
can see the seams of
You can.
4 episodes squashed together.
whereas I think this actually worked incredibly well for a movie. They picked the best arc they could possibly pick for it. It was
Self-contained.
Yeah.
Like, obviously, going in there with zero context would be a mistake. But, like, as far as it is a film that starts and finishes and tells a story, it's cleaner than Infinity Castle. Because also Infinity Castle is part of a trilogy too. So, like, it's...
I had some people messaging me asking me if they could go in blind because they want to watch Chainsaw
Watch our
Man.
recap on
Yeah,
YouTube.
and I went, well, do I have video for you? But I also was just like, maybe watch the series. It's not that long. Like, it's not like Demon Slayer's too many seasons long. But
forget Demon
Chainsaw
Slayer,
Man is only 1 season, so it's not so bad.
True. But watch our recap. It's good.
But I was like, the movie's better than the series. So, yeah.
Movie is better. I'm really excited about the future of Chainsaw Man.
Me
because,
too.
That, again, like I said,
We missed there's an ending scene that we missed.
Yeah, we missed that. Fuck's sake.
What was that post-credit scene?
Yes, that set up the whole new season.
I was so busting to go to the bathroom that I ran out to like
Fleeing?
fled
Charlie?
like Charlie from a taxi. Fled straight to the bathroom and then I came out and Charlie was like, oh, we missed a post-credit scene. It's like, curses!
So now we have no idea what's going to happen next season. We're completely in the dark.
I actually don't remember.
All right, I'll ask Sony to send us a screener.
We can just watch it when it comes out.
I'm not waiting.
I have... There's a Santa Claus guy.
Oh, Santa Claus. Apparently very powerful.
Yeah.
Dolls, right?
Yeah, there's going to be some mercenaries that are going to come after him with some really interesting, strange powers. But one of them just sticks in my head as like a Santa Claus guy.
Yeah.
And then it'll go bigger and weirder and weirder and weirder. It'll just get weirder from here on in.
Cool.
Yeah, which I was excited for, to be honest. I was kind of like, you know what? Let's get weird. Let's get real weird.
Let's make anime weird again.
Let's
You know what I
just
mean?
Make it
Like,
real weird.
it's,
in a not
in that way.
way.
Yes.
We're not into that.
No.
In a like, woo way.
Or non-Western sensibilities. You know what I mean? That was the thing that, like, again, I go back to Akira. It was the thing that just like blew people's minds because they're like, wow, that's what cartoons can do, right? And Chainsaw Man is doing something very, very different. I mean, so is Demon Slayer, but Demon Slayer is also like pretty paint by the numbers shonen. If you're anywhat familiar with anime, of course, you can see all the boxes that's ticking. If you're a Western fan who's never seen anime before, you might be like, wow, this is a bit different to what I'm used to. If you see Chainsaw Man, you're like, whoa, that's pretty crazy. That's pretty out there. Hey, like it's different, you know.
Yeah,
And I
check
think
your
that's
content
important.
warnings, but
Yes, there are content warnings. Yes.
yeah, but it's I think overall, if you know what you're in for, then and you're okay with seeing it, I think it's pretty worth your while.
100%. I think it's definitely a great piece. I love the movie. I think it's probably my movie of the year. Full stop.
Oh, in the old movies?
Yeah.
Wow.
It was pretty good.
Wow.
Yeah.
It was pretty good. Honestly, I was so, and I'm saying this with like full honesty. I just
watched
was
one
very
battle
taken aback.
after another, so
I haven't seen that.
We're going to put that
I haven't
above
seen that yet. I heard it's very
Paul
good.
Thomas Anderson. Yeah, it's fucking phenomenal.
Yeah, I've heard it's fantastic.
I'll call you next
PTA.
week. Like, Chainsaw
I could take on PTA. Let's do this.
Let's do it.
Yeah.
Let's do it.
Okay.
Chainsaw Man.
That's.
I haven't said it.
I'm really excited to watch this movie at some point in my life.
Well, I think it just goes back to inherently how much better this arc from a storytelling standpoint, like from the manga, I think,
Yeah.
is able to tell the story of a movie from start to finish. You know what I mean? Like,
Yeah. Structurally, obviously, the reason that we've had so many issues with these kind of this trend of having movies that are continuations of series as a movie is obviously pacing is a huge issue. And if you're adapting a manga text into pacing, and obviously it's going to lend itself more to a series.
Yeah.
I think that Mugen Train did it well actually as well, weirdly. This did it way better. I think it's like down to picking the storyline that worked the best. And I think that what really grounds this and what makes it actually work the best is because of the romance aspect of it. And because we only have this character for like a brief amount of time.
Yes.
So we get her whole arc there. And I think it does lend itself to cinema or movie pacing and hitting those beats. So I think that that's probably the reason why it's more successful than something like, as we've said before, Infinity Castle, which as much as we loved it, definitely felt like a bunch of episodes together just on higher budget. Which if you're seeing a movie isn't like I'm just like, I would rather have just watched this new season.
Yes.
Yeah. But this was great in terms of how it built, seeing it on the big screen, the way they kind of went about the budgeting of it. It was very well earned and it just ended up being like just a good movie as opposed to a good anime adaptation movie.
Yeah.
Which I think is rare.
It is.
Without that caveat, I'm always like, it was really good for, like, but if you don't know the blah, blah, I'm like, no, this was actually really good.
Yeah. And I guess what's interesting too, like, so some spoilers here without trying to spoil too much, but the opening section is like Denji goes on a date with Makima, and then he meets...
I love that sequence.
Brilliant sequence. Then he meets Reze, and they build their relationship, and they take their time with it.
Yeah.
They take their time with it. It's not overblown. It's not overwrought. It doesn't drag, but they give you enough time to actually make you feel like this relationship is important and that you understand the significance and you actually grow to whether you want to call it shipping or you want to just be like, oh, I understand this. So this is cool. This is interesting. There's a connection there. And they did that really, really well.
And as an audience, you are aware because you're watching Chainsaw Man. We're all kind of like,
we know what's coming.
Oh,
where are the chainsaws?
This ain't big. But we're like, this ain't. We're like, this is gonna end badly, but at the same time, it kind of gets you at the end there when it's like, well, actually, the connection was real, and we find that out later. It's really good. It's got a lot of heart. It's very character driven, but also the action is sick. It's a great movie.
Yeah, Reze is also just a great character. Like, she's fascinating, and
apparently she hasn't come back yet in the series.
Graham can attest to this, but spoiler.
Nope.
Also, Graham, I want to bring you in here from a manga boy perspective.
Yeah.
So, like, what was it that first, like, drew you to Chainsaw Man, and what is it that you think from the manga it does different, or what makes it stand out to you apart from it's Unhinged?
Look, I think when you scan across the aisles of your local manga section or store and you see a man with a chainsaw for a head, you're always going to be like, yeah.
Okay.
It's like that detective one where the guy had a gun for his head.
Oh, yes, No Guns Life.
I was like, yeah, I'm going to read that. The guy's got a gun for a head.
Oh, yeah. I'm surprised that wasn't an influence.
Yeah.
Yeah, true. That was actually reasonably... I mean, unfortunately, there was some stodgy CGI at the end, but that was actually a pretty good show.
Yeah.
Film noir.
So obviously that's what drew me to the manga. Also, I'd read Fujimoto's Fire Punch.
You read Fire Punch, yeah.
So I knew I was going to be in for a crazy story, but it's also the humanity. Like, you guys have touched on a lot of it. It's... You're right about Denji being just such an interesting protagonist because his goals are so small, but the world he lives in is so large and extreme. So I really like that sort of counterpoint of, yeah, he's a chainsaw guy, but he loves toast. Like, it really shows like a bit of humanity to it. Like, it's bombastic, but it's quiet. Like, there's that kind of, like, the juxtaposition of those two really sucked me in and has kept me there for 15, 16 volumes. So, yeah. And the guy's got a chainsaw for a head.
Yeah. I think the characterization of Denji does a great job of like reminding you of the stakes for this kid. You're like, this is a kid, and this is it's really well done in that way. Whereas I think sometimes you can forget when you're watching a shonen that you're dealing with a kid's story,
Yes.
as in like their own journey.
Yeah, 100%. So yeah, I really think Chainsaw Man is like, it's just doing something unique, doing something different. It's like if you want to show someone an anime that's like different, you're like, hey, you want to like you say someone's just like, hey, I'm sick of all the shit that I watch all the time. I want something that's gonna break it up for me. You go, all right, I got something that's gonna be different for you, and that will do it. But also if you are a thriller fan, like if you're like, say you're like Old Boy or something like into the Korean film or Asian cinema, this will really float your boat. Chainsaw Man, because there really is an interesting element of what it's doing is drawing on Western culture, it's drawing on lots of different transnational Asian influences from its media standpoint. So I think it's something that I am now, after this movie, I'm in.
You're locked in?
I'm really in. Nice. I remember just like even sitting back, like watching it during the Reze and Denji sort of courtship section of the movie, just being like, wow, this is really fucking good. This is really fucking good.
It's probably the best romance has ever been in a show in that 5 seconds. Like I was like,
It's really clever.
It's really well done. Like I kind of believe that relationship over Naruto and Hinata. Over more Sasuke.
Which had
and Sakura.
20 years to
Yeah. And I was like, well, I guess they're fine. She hasn't changed her opinion since she was 9. That's okay.
Yeah, that's fine.
Like, yeah.
That's very true. It's it's really something. Look, if it's still out in cinemas and you've been on the fence about seeing it, go and see it. Otherwise, the second it drops on any streaming service or Crunchyroll, check it out because it is absolutely fantastic, and I cannot wait for season 2. It's going to be so cool.
Do we have a timeline on season 2 next year? No,
not exactly.
Don't know. Yeah,
Watch this space, I guess.
Watch this space.
Yeah.
We'll be announcing it. You'll hear it here first.
Absolutely. Well, Charlie, Graham, thank you so much. Great to talk about.
Thank you, Sam. We don't thank you enough.
No, you don't. It's
Yeah,
true.
we're not and thank you.
Good stuff. Anyway, if you like what we're doing, you can find us on Instagram, TikTok, or YouTube, where hopefully you're watching this. If not, please like and subscribe. It really does help. If you're listening on the podcast platforms, check us out on Spotify or Apple Podcasts, where you can leave a review on Apple or give us 5 stars on Spotify. It really does help, does make a difference. Also, if you really want to support us, you can join our Patreon. Over there, we do special episodes for exclusives. We also do behind the scenes footage and early releases. And we're looking to build Patreon next year. So watch this space for a little bit more about what we're going to be doing over there in 2026. But thank you to our patrons. You guys really are the best. And we appreciate you massively. And hey, come join us over there. But we're going to talk about random shit like gaming and Physical 100 and Physical Asia. So like,
No, we're not.
we do different stuff over there. It's a little bit more, a little bit looser.
And a huge thank you to this episode's sponsor, Hobbyco.
Absolutely. Yes, indeed. Charlie, Graham, thank you so much. Thank you all for watching. If you haven't seen Chainsaw Man, get into it. Enjoy. Thank you. Bye.